Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. The bold and the beautiful spoilers. Steffi fires Carter for crossing one line too many, but will Ridge and Eric allow it? The bold and the beautiful B&V. Spoilers reveal that Steffi Forrester, Jacqueline McKinswood, is on the verge of having a surprising new rival at the office. Carter Walton, Lawrence St. Victor, already annoyed Steffi at the recent Hope for the Future meeting, but things are about to go from bad to worse. Since Carter threw his full support behind Hope Logan's Annika Noel struggling line, Steffi is starting to question his judgment. That trend will continue when Carter reveals that he's arranged for Ivy Forrester, Ashley Brewer, and Electra Forrester, Linnea Grace, to offer up a jewelry line proposal. Steffi will feel like Carter is overstepping and making decisions that don't make sense for the company. Carter is usually a numbers guy, but Steffi will think he's ignoring their bottom line and making choices without evidence that they'll be profitable. After Steffi has a negative reaction to Ivy and Electra's jewelry offerings, Carter will go ballistic. We'll see Carter lose it at the office, so he'll rant about Steffi not giving this line a real chance. Once Steffi sees Carter's anger on full display, she'll be taken aback. Steffi won't get why Carter is suddenly getting so emotional about everything and will turn to Ridge Forrester, Thorsten Kaye, for a venting session. All of this will leave Steffi with serious doubts about whether Carter is really doing his job well anymore. If Carter stays on this path, Steffi will feel like it's only going to end in terrible news for the Forrester family business. We'll also see Carter make an exciting pitch about his new vision for Forrester Creations overall, which Steffi surely isn't going to like either. Nothing Carter does will be right as far as Steffi's concerned in the coming episodes. If this keeps up, Steffi may want to fire Carter, especially once she finds out about his budding romance with Hope. That could get under Steffi's skin and make her even more convinced that Carter has lost his mind. However, Steffi may get outvoted on the topic of Carter and whether he should remain at the company. Ridge considers Carter a close friend and may think cutting him loose seems extreme. Eric Forrester, John McCook, may feel the same way and step up to protect Carter's role at Forrester Creations. Whatever the case, our B&B predictions point to Steffi and Carter's rivalry breaking out big time during the week of October 21 to 25 and beyond. The bold and the beautiful spoilers say Hope will inevitably get caught in the middle of this mess, so stick with us for updates on all the chaos. Steffi Forrester stood at the massive window of her Forrester Creations office, staring out into the bustling cityscape of Los Angeles. The view, typically a source of inspiration and serenity for her, felt distant today, like a mere reflection of her fractured world. Her mind raced with the weight of a decision she never thought she would have to make, one that could send shockwaves through her family, her company, and her personal life. She had built a reputation as a fierce and savvy businesswoman, guiding Forrester Creations through some of its most challenging moments. Yet no amount of training, mentorship, or family legacy could prepare her for the moment she was facing. Carter Walton, the company's loyal and trusted chief operating officer, had crossed a line again. This time, it was too much for her to overlook. The knock on her office door pulled her from her thoughts. "Come in," she said, her voice controlled but tense. The door creaked open, and there stood Carter, tall, composed, but with a subtle nervous energy clinging to him. He had been summoned, and he knew why. "Steffi," Carter greeted, his tone measured but uneasy. His gaze met hers, but Steffi's eyes were hard, revealing none of the warmth that used to accompany their professional interactions. "Carter," Steffi replied, gesturing for him to sit. The air in the room was thick with unspoken tension. "We need to talk." Carter hesitated for a beat before sitting down. He could sense the gravity of the situation, but he hoped his loyalty to the Forrester family might give him an edge in whatever this was about. "I don't think there's any need for a long conversation," Steffi began, her voice firm and unwavering. "You've been a crucial part of this company for years, and I've respected you, both professionally and personally. But you've crossed one line too many, Carter, and I can't ignore it anymore." Carter's heart sank. He had feared this moment ever since his personal and professional lives had begun to blur dangerously. He knew exactly what she was talking about, and there was no real defense for his actions. "Steffi, Please," he interrupted, raising a hand to silence him. "I don't need to hear excuses or explanations. This isn't just about one mistake. It's about a pattern of behavior. First, with Quinn. Now with Paris. You've compromised your position as COO, and you've jeopardized the reputation of this company." Carter's face paled as Steffi laid out the facts, each word cutting like a knife. He had always prided himself on being a man of integrity, but lately his actions hadn't reflected that. His affair with Quinn Fuller had nearly torn the Forrester family apart, and his involvement with Paris Buckingham had further complicated matters at Forrester Creations. The company had always been more than just a job for him. It was family. But now it seemed that family was slipping away. "Steffi, I made mistakes. But I've worked hard to make up for them," Carter pleaded. "I've been loyal to this company for years. You know I would never intentionally hurt Forrester Creations." Steffi's expression softened ever so slightly, but her resolve remained. "I know, Carter, but loyalty isn't enough anymore. You've put us all in difficult positions, Ridge, Eric, me. Your actions have left us with no choice." There was a heavy pause, the weight of Steffi's words pressing down on both of them. Carter could feel the walls closing in. His mind raced for a solution, for a way out, but he knew Steffi wasn't the type to bluff. "I'm terminating your position as COO, effective immediately," Steffi declared, the finality in her voice sending chills down Carter's spine. Carter's heart pounded in his chest. He had seen this coming, yet hearing the words spoken aloud felt like a punch to the gut. "Steffi, please, you don't have to do this. I can fix this. Just give me a chance." Steffi shook her head. "I've given you enough chances. This is my decision, and it's final." As the reality of her words sank in, Carter felt his throat tighten. His career at Forrester Creations, his legacy, his relationship with the Forresters, it was all slipping through his fingers. But as much as he wanted to fight, he knew it wouldn't change anything. The silence between them was deafening, but it was suddenly broken by a knock on the door. Ridge Forrester, Steffi's father, stepped in, followed closely by Eric Forrester, the patriarch of the family and the heart of the company. Both men looked serious, their expressions unreadable as they glanced between Steffi and Carter. "We heard what's going on," Ridge said, his voice low and steady, though his eyes betrayed his concern. Steffi looked at her father and grandfather, her resolve unwavering. "I've made my decision. Carter's actions have left me no choice. He's no longer fit to serve as COO." Ridge and Eric exchanged glances, the weight of Steffi's words hanging in the air. Eric stepped forward, his gaze softening as he looked at Carter. "Carter, you've been like a son to me," Eric began, his voice tinged with regret. "But Steffi's right. This can't go on. You've made too many personal decisions that have impacted this company." Carter nodded, his eyes downcast. "I understand, Eric. It's not easy for any of us," Ridge interrupted, his tone firm. "But Steffi's running the company now, and we trust her judgment." There was a moment of silence as Carter absorbed the full weight of the situation. He had lost. There was no turning back. But even as the reality of his dismissal settled in, a small part of him couldn't help but wonder if there was still a way to regain their trust in the future. "I'm sorry," Carter finally said, his voice barely above a whisper. "For everything." Steffi nodded, her expression softening ever so slightly. "I hope you find a way to make things right, Carter. But it won't be here." As Carter stood to leave, the gravity of what had just happened hit him full force. He had spent years at Forrester Creations, building a career, relationships, and a life. Now it was all gone, erased by a few reckless choices. And as he walked out of Steffi's office, he couldn't help but wonder what the future held for him, and for the company he had once called home.